So boys, I feel very inspired. It's 8 a.m. right now. It's Monday. You know what it is, Monday Conquest. So I'm just gonna dive straight into this. In this video, I'm gonna show you exactly how to make infinite amount of commissions with outbound appointment setting. So there are couple of things you need to focus on with outbound, but obviously if you are doing an outbound appointment setting, that's because your client wants you to generate new leads and bring some new sales calls into his business, and that's exactly what you're gonna do after watching this video. First of all, just to make it very clear, your job is to warm up cold leads, gather as much intel about them, make them aware of their problem, and finally book them onto a call. So pretty much your job is to convert cold leads into interested booked calls, with of course gathering as much intel as possible about them. As you already know, most of the times when you're dealing with cold leads, they don't know you, they don't trust you, and that's completely understandable. I mean, you wouldn't either probably, and that's how usually things go. Sometimes you can deal with slightly warmer leads, such as, let's say, you're working for your client and he has a free Discord group, free Telegram group, free Facebook channel, whatever, and you are in those groups doing an outreach to all the members inside. So these are considered slightly warmer leads, but it's still considered an outbound appointment setting, and in that case the process would be a bit different. But for now, let's say that you're dealing with completely cold leads. When they don't know you, or when they don't trust you, your main goal, actually you have three main goals here, and those are: first, establish trust; second, warm them up, warm the leads up; and third, gather intel, or gather as much info about them as possible. Those are your main goals. So the way you can establish trust is by literally being more genuine and not coming across as a salesy person. It's obvious that when you message them, they're just going to assume that you want something from them, and most likely that's money because you want to sell them something, let's be honest. So the way to avoid that is by coming across as genuine as possible. So pretty much your best bet here is to be genuine and stand out from the crowd, because I genuinely think that all of those guys that you're gonna be outreaching to on a daily basis have around 50 plus, at least 50 guys DMing them the same thing. So you obviously want to stand out from the crowd. You can't raise any red flags whatsoever. You simply can't. In outbound appointment setting, the slightest red flag is going to get you left unseen. That's just how things work in an outbound setting, you know. So depending on who you're messaging, your target audience, and how much you actually understand your target audience, you can probably already know their average pain points and actually use that to automatically generate some interest. Once you've got some interest from them, they're going to be a lot more open to hear what you have to say, regardless of trust, regardless if they trust you or don't. But of course, this is somewhat a perfect scenario for you. So assuming you message a complete stranger, you don't really have much info about them. Actually, you don't even know would they be a good fit for your business. And in that case, you need to do these things right here. By doing it, you'll slowly start warming up those leads. And yes, also, I think I'm gonna tell you something that I think no one else is teaching their guys. So it's basically generating interest by asking targeted questions and offering a bit of insight. By offering a bit of insight, I mean literally free value. What I mean by this is, for example, let's say I'm outreaching for my Setter Science appointment setting program, and my program is men only, as you know already probably. I would ask something like, yo bro, how's your self-improvement going? And he would say, oh bro, thanks for asking, it's going good, I'm trying to find some extra motivation. And in that case, I would just give him free advice from my own experience, and I can give them an advice to both help him and warm him up a bit more. That's exactly what's gonna assert me as an authority, as some expert in this field, which will make him trust me more. So pretty much this is some sort of an equation. You have a free value that you will use okay? You have some sort of free value that you will use to assert dominance, which in other words present you like an authority, and ultimately you're gonna be trusted a bit more. Something like this. So all of these things you need to use to ultimately be trusted, to get that trust from them. So one more example I would like to give you is, let's say I reach out to someone with, hey bro, what's your plan to escape the matrix in 2024? He would maybe say, oh, I don't really know, bro. And I would then proceed to ask him, is this something you might want to look into? I'm still talking about my program, by the way. I think then he might say yes, of course. And at that very moment, I would say something along the lines of, I think that the sales industry is very profitable at the moment, and pretty much you might realize that I've asked a targeted question to sort of find out more about his current situation. So that's exactly what you need to use these targeted questions for. Targeted questions are specifically meant for you to find out more about them, to find out more about their current situation. About their current situation. Something like this. It's actually pretty simple if you ask me. Anyways, his current situation is obviously not an ideal thing, because otherwise he wouldn't be looking for some solutions. And then you also want to know about his desired outcome. It pretty much goes like this. You need to find out more about his current situation and his desired outcome. And somewhere in between those two, let's say here, is your solution. You see? When you offered him a little bit of insight on how he can actually get there to his desired outcome, that's when he is going to appreciate you even more, and once again you're going to assert dominance, assert an authority, and be trusted a lot more. So I'm basically leading him through my appointment setting structure. And then, of course, at the end, my goal is to book him onto a call. And another important thing when warming up the leads is patience, boys. This is a chess game. This is a chess game because you need to play your moves properly. Every targeted question brings you one step closer to that ultimate goal, which is to book him onto a call and get a close. When I started an appointment setting, this is my own experience, I literally booked over 50 plus qualified calls only from doing outbound appointment setting. And for you that maybe don't know yet, I made 0 commissions. Literally 0 commissions, because my guy didn't know how to close shit, basically. So you don't want to be working with shit closers after all. But that experience, I believe, that experience that I went through made me who I am today. And I think that without that experience, without that shitty feeling I've had with no money, I think I wouldn't be able to be master at appointment setting right now. And by the way, all of them were completely cold leads, those guys that I've been booking before, and I was talking with them for up to a week even, in order to not only build trust, but build a friendly relationship and book them onto that call. And I know this is not something I usually tell you, I know I always say speed is the key to success, but in all of those cases, none of these conversations were dead. Every question I asked was very important to ask before I actually propose a call. Anyways, my main point is that you should plan a few moves ahead and basically lead them to give you an answer you want to hear from them. By the time I pitched them, something they already had to trust to actually listen to what I have to say. By the time I pitched them something, they already had trust in me to actually listen to what I have to say. And that's also why it's very important to use your CRM, boys. Your CRM, you need to use it as well. If you go back and watch few videos ago, I told you about tracking things. That's how you actually separate yourself from the average guys. So let's say that some of those guys got their defenses up, some of your potential prospects, which is completely normal, and in that case, maybe the best thing to say is something like, okay bro, thanks for your time anyway. I've just dropped you a follow, and let's say I'd appreciate it if you followed me as well. Drop them a follow so you guys can stay connected. And then what you need to do with that CRM, it's simply because once you message them back in a week or so, and once you actually say goodbye to them, they'll realize that you weren't just trying to sell them something, you know. If you were just to sell them something, you'll still try to do it, you know. You will still try to keep that conversation alive. So they'll be wondering like, oh, he's a good guy, he didn't try to sell me anything. And then when you follow up with them in a certain period of time, let's say in a week, you can just say something simple related to your previous conversation. So basically, just say something related to your previous convo. It's just like that. And that will make the prospect like you even more, because you literally remembered what he told you earlier. So yeah, that's pretty much the way of warming up the leads. Of course, still don't forget to gather as much information as possible, like I said here. Establish trust, all of those other things. You simply need to know as much as possible about them, and the way I would recommend you to do that is by asking one question at a time, in a genuine, basically back and forth way. You want these conversations to flow. You want them to be natural. You don't want to make them feel that this is scripted or something. What I mean by natural is obviously don't copy paste. Don't copy paste, and you know, I mean that both you and them are actively talking. That's what I mean by engaging conversation. You know, it's not a dead convo and you just need to make them talk as much as possible, because it's in human nature for people to like other people who are letting them talk. If you can ask questions, that's going to make people talk more, and it's also going to make them trust you more, a lot quicker. So boys, if you follow all of these things I told you in today's video, if you find a good, well-established company to work for and use these methods to stand out from the crowd, to be genuine, to respect them, this is how you're gonna book an infinite amount of qualified calls and make infinite commissions as an outbound setter. Once you reach that point, you obviously can ask for some sort of a monthly retainer, and you can establish yourself as an asset to the company you're working in. And pretty much the reason I like outbound appointment setting so much is because you can literally decide who you want to talk to. You can avoid booking all those, I don't know, 13-year-old guys, unqualified guys, and your cash flow depends only on you. No inbound, no ads, you know. Your flow, your lead flow actually depends only on you. So yes boys, I hope this video helped you, and of course if you have any questions, go down there in the description and ask me personally on my IG, or just book a one-on-one call so I can help you out face to face. Thanks for watching and keep grinding.